Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in, welcome in. It is a beautiful Sunday night here at the Oceanic Champions League. I am your host, Hallow833, and it is my pleasure to announce a beautiful play-by-play caster joining me tonight. Jacob, how are you feeling? What's going on, my dear friend?
Thank you very much. Hello, I'm feeling great. You know, I had a great time yesterday and I just had to come back. I mean, how could I not want to back on after amazing games? And this time I've got another amazing cast of the color section. Weapon.
Good. I need to be here. This a barrel of gig. Hey, I mean, it is top of the table. It does not get better than this. And in a way that I was not out of it.
Listen, Weapon, this is my first time in a little while, hosting and casting with you. And I think we have been blessed with a beautiful, beautiful best of two tonight. This is something truly amazing. Let's take a look at these teams because I think just the names here are going to blow you away. Take a look, take a deep, long look. We've got Willy Wonka, Captain Tofu. We're talking Rattles. We're talking so many big names. But then on the other side, we've got BBP. We've got Sad Sam. We've got Bulldog. I mean, I want to just dive into this, Weapon. I want to know how you're feeling about these two matchups, Amit.
Yeah, like I said, this and then everyone said they're getting out of their group first. But I'm looking at the side of that. Rattles, Wrangler, Lotsball, and even like Kate. Why aren't they the best? And now tonight, obviously, on top out of the best of two caveats, but yeah, bangers.
Oh, absolutely. I here's the thing. I want to talk about predictions. We will get into predictions, but I really do have to pay attention to these. I want to ask you, Jacob, in particular. You got to pick. I know this is going to be tricky. You got to pick one name out of this amazing list that you're going to be focused on. What do you feel?
No, I mean, Willy Wonka's the name you see everywhere so often at the time. So, I mean, I feel like that's kind of the go-to. And you say Team Skullball, it should be top of the table. Why not look to the top lane to do, right? I think such a difference maker. Hoping better these.
Dude.
On the money. Get on the money. But BBP against BBP Weapon.
Your
BBP
boy.
versus Willy Wonka. I mean, how do you even predict what goes on there? How do you even think? We have to look towards the group stage, surely. That's got to be what we look at. I want to bring up the rankings on how these games have been going, how they've been progressing throughout this tournament. And yeah, as we've talked about, the Dream Team, is it 9 wins to 1 loss?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's where we sit, right? And that's just unexpected going in because there's a lot of players who just didn't really have a lot of expectations going in. And you look at the other side of the table. Now, I will say, in terms of that matchup, Willy Wonka, I think, has been bested by BBP for the majority of this year. So there is definitely a conversation to be had about, who is actually the better top lane? Because Willy Wonka was always that guy. BBP was always kind of that meme pick, right? Like, he's a streamer. Like, who expects a lot? But now, I think you have to put the respect on the name because he won, like, what? He won the QUT. He won, he's won Forge. Has he won Forge?
Tour?
He's won a lot of stuff.
One tour?
Yep, that's the one I was struggling for. So
Yep.
I've cast
Dynasty.
a lot of tournaments with you specifically,
have.
and I've cast a lot of tournaments. So the names just like fly out of my head as soon as I'm done with them. But yeah, you're right. He's won a lot of stuff, right? So now we need to start putting the respect on the name, and we're gonna see it laid out on the riff. Also, I'm hearing myself twice.
I think, I mean, Jacob, you pointed this out, and I think you're right. I think top lane is where we're wanting to pay a lot of it. But I want to speak as a little bit more laterally in regards to the whole tournament. Yes, we're looking at Dream Team versus Skull Bullet. Are there any other teams that you've got in particular on your mind that might, sneak up the rankings? One that you put your eyes on in particular?
Well, I mean, to be fair, when I was doing my research for this match specifically, I was mostly looking at the these two teams exactly. But you look at the current standings right now. Of course, your other top two in the other two teams in the top four, Chinese Agricultural Project and Product and Chudlings. They're up there, 14, 15 plus points. They'll be wanting to make their own push to stay competitive into the playoff bracket. So definitely one to look out for.
I Chudlings, I mean that is a well-known name and something that I will always a team that I'll always keep eyes on. It will set the stage, however, these two games tonight. Like I mean, this is pretty much the creme of the crop. It's what we're really looking for. We've talked about the top lane. We've talked about BBP versus Willy. Let's discuss. Let's not go to the jungle or the mid yet. Let's go to the bot lane. What are your thoughts? Give me your thoughts first, Jacob, on your thoughts on the bot lane of these going against.
Yeah. So I mean, personally, I favor Team Skullbullet just because to me, Wrangler and Locks, I think the synergy they're a stronger duo. I know them as players a lot more as well too. So uh, in that way, I back them. But I think they're gonna have the advantage here. I think Tomaz and Mighty Bulldog, they're gonna have take a big step up to get the right synergy to go into these duos.
That's true. That's true. Weapon. I know you're a bit of a Bulldog fan. What are your thoughts in regards to this bot lane?
Yeah, I like a bit of Bulldog. I think the interesting thing about Bulldog specifically is this is a player who I think is very flexible, but we have seen a lot of success on the Enchanter picks, which I think just aren't quite as good unless you're going for that oppressive, your Caitlyn Bards, your Lucian Milios, Lucian Nami if you want, which is only really it's the only real way you can make those work. You see like Yunara Lulu in there sometimes, but for the most part, the meta really does have you playing those mages, playing something engage focused like a Camille, and roaming around. And I could be completely honest, this might just be my lack of familiarity with his tape on this particular tournament, but that's a concern for me coming in, where I think Wrangle and Locks. Obviously, they are top of the table, so they've shown that they can play that style. And how good is Bulldog going to be in the entire scope of this tournament? Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe he's been crushing it. I don't know.
No, I mean, it's a good thing to bring up because yeah, right now the meta is in, I'd say, a bit of a state of flux. We have seen some really interesting support picks. We've seen these really weird, something that I've been paying a lot of attention. Roam's top from support. That seems to be so in fashion, and I'm wondering if we're going to get that. And this is another thing I want to bring up. I mean, I'll say the two titans of the team, Willy Wonka and BBP. Mental is everything, and these are two players whose mentals control their game. So if you're having the supports roaming top, it really is a battle of mental fortitude. And speaking of mental fortitude, Jacob, we got Sad Sam in the mid lane. What are your thoughts on Sad Sam as a player? What are your thoughts on one of the best Yasuos, one of the best Chogats, one of the best Yones in your LC focus? What's your thoughts?
I think definitely a player that you can play through. I mean, you look at those picks specifically, the Yone and Yasuo, and those are two picks that can get ahead and carry a team. So if they come in through in draft, and I think as well too, because we get so much more mages bot now, it's makes more sense now to play a physical damage mid lane, which can be that Yone or Yasuo in these situations. And Sam might just pull this out and carry a game if you let him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, last time I was hosting, we had a Sad Sam game. I referred to him as the janitor of OS because yes, he can play those ADs, but we saw him on his Aurora cleaning up team. He has such a beautiful way of getting angles in, finishing team up at a mate. But if I'm correct, I believe we're going to draft pretty soon.
Let's go.
Oh, yes, we've got a couple minutes till draft, which means we can discuss the jungles. What do you think of between these two jungles here? By the way, I know I didn't mention Brattles. Brattles is the GOAT. We don't need to discuss Brattles.
It's okay.
We don't need to. We know the Swain, we know the Vex, we know the Vega.
Yep.
I could list, and we know the Aurora.
The Aurora.
Let's talk about the jungles. What are we thinking?
All good. Now, Tofu is an interesting player, I think, because obviously most known for the Teemo jungle, these sort of meme picks. But I think, as of late, a player who we see the occasional Teemo game come out and maybe at the end of a tournament, but I think has just looked really, really good on things like the Vi, the Xin Zhao. So yeah, I have a lot of faith in this player. I think just alongside this team to actually get it done and be the aggressive member who's kind of leading the charge, especially when you got someone like Willy Wonka in the top lane to play around. It just makes it so much easier.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be really interesting. And I'm going to leave you two guys to go to draft, delve into it, see how these players pick up their champs. And I can't wait to join you again out. Going to be a good one, fellas. Enjoy.
Thank you.
All right, let's do it. We are in draft, so yeah, looking at probably a lot of topside focus for both of these teams, just because of the way that that Willy Wonka and BBP tend to kind of command respect in that top lane. I'm looking at things like the Jax, obviously the Rumble being the counterpart to that Jax, but we'll see what they end up with here because so far it actually is a lot of jungles being taken away.
Yeah, jungles and mid as well too. Well, the Draven is banned for Tomas there, and that's the Yonan Yeso that we were talking about with Sam, just taken away instantly, not wanting to risk that snowball in the mid lane.
There it is. And of course, the other picks we've been talking about are going to be those mages. Mel is up and available, as is the Ziggs, so you could go for that Mel Camille combo if you do want to grab one side of that on the side of Skull Bullet, which I would not be surprised if you do. I think it's just too strong right now. The only real caveat to that is the nerf of the Proto Belt does mean that it's a little bit less of a safe option to go for. It does cap your damage a bit, but on someone like a Mel, I think it's still completely serviceable. So see what the lock-in is here. Apparently, it is going to be absolutely nothing. And that's
Yep.
that's the stream. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
I mean, are you saying maybe a Camille pick here for locks? But I mean, I looked at his last like rank game. It's like 15 games of Shen in a row. So
There
in
you go.
support.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we
Good.
had that last night. It could be pulling out again right away.
Good research. Now, the other thing I did see that being played in this particular tournament, but the other thing is okay. It's going to be a J4. The other thing is that the Shen just doesn't really have that huge value against something like a Mel or a Zig. So I am a little bit suspicious of it working. Obviously, he did make it work in previous games, but J4 being enabled is an interesting pick because it does mean that things like the Ziggs and the Mel, those potential targets in the mid lane, aren't necessarily going to be as safe, we shall say, because they can't really do a whole lot when you've got a J4 on your face if you're either one of those picks, even if you have a Proto Belt.
Yeah, the Cataclysm has got pretty high walls, hard to get over. So
Can't scale
yeah,
those.
Captain Tofu will be trying to captain the J4 around the map.
Now,
So probably
Poppy
gonna
is
get a
available as a potential counter pick into the J4, one of the classic answers. The other thing we do see would be that Xin if you want to try and just get the J4 away from your carries and just kind of grind out the fight front to back, which I would not mind if we are going to go for the sort of mage long range spray and pray sort of style. I'm being pinged. What are we being pinged for?
just all right, just a bit of connection.
We crashed
issues, but
again.
That is all good.
Okay. That's all right. We'll have this sorted out very shortly, hopefully.
Yeah, let's just we can just pretend to do the.
Oh, okay. So we got what? Jarvan, Kai'Sa,
Isa Mundo.
Mundo, and
Oh,
Caitlyn.
Caitlyn.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. We will have that draft up on your screen very, very shortly. Those are the picks. Now, this is the other thing we really didn't get a chance to talk about in the pregame, but this kind of interplay that we're seeing in the meta between the mages, tanks, and now we're even starting to see things like these aggressive kind of assassins picks pop up in bot lane, like the Silas we saw over in the LCS. So
And Akali as well.
yeah, and Akali, that was the other one. So I would not be surprised if we do actually start to see maybe even potentially those tanks heading towards the bot lane because what counters assassins, right? It is going to be tanks. So I think we're not too far away from that adaptation coming through. But right now, even just the Mundo in the top lane, if we're going to be looking at a mage in the bot lane potentially, just means that you don't really get to play the game as either of those picks. But of course, it is the 80 carries locked in on both sides. I'm just realizing because we don't have the graphic in front of us.
Yeah, yeah. Let's take a look. All right. Yeah. So yeah, we've got the Caitlyn and Kai'Sa locked in the bot lane. Rumble's been picked as well too. So it looks like maybe Mundo jungle then potentially
Mundo
for
jungle,
the
Rumble
dream
top.
team with the
Um,
Rumble being picked already.
And do we have our top lane locked in production at all? That's for Skull Bullet, by the way. We're kind of no way that's real. Is that real?
Yeah, the lock has been picked
Oh, lock.
for
Okay.
the mid on Skullblock. So yeah, I assume mid. I assume Bradlers is playing lock in the mid lane.
I've been seeing it play jungle, but I think it's definitely best in the mid lane against
Yeah,
something
I'd agree.
could abuse. Okay, Diana locked in,
Diana.
so that will be our jungle. Mundo top probably.
I don't know. I
Okay,
thought the
Jarvan locked
Mundo
Caitlyn.
would be going
Karma locked
Caitlyn
in.
Carmen.
Can we just reboot this graphic or something? Yeah. Okay.
No,
Production's
that's
trying to get it
completely fine.
sorted. Um, I assume we're not running through the draft in. Oh, I'm getting screenshots of the client, so I guess we can follow along with
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Hard to think this through while we're not getting the right graphic on screen, but
Hmm. Okay. So it is. I think
it
it's
is.
it's Diana mid for the dream team, right? Because Mundo got jungle and
Yeah,
Rumble top.
not bad into the. I mean, it could be Mundo top as well, but you're right. Could could be the case. It's. I think the Diana is not bad into the lock. The thing about the lock is he does really need to hit at least two of those Qs to even do any sort of significant damage. And if you
Yeah.
can just play ahead of that, and Diana certainly can with just QE into W, get a good trade and then back off, then you can actually put the lock on the back foot nice and early. As if that is that an Aurelia locked in, we're being treated. And there's the Camille. So it is Camille support. Thank you for the screenshots, production.
Interesting. Yep. I can. Yeah. Camille support. All right.
So Camille support locked in obviously is going to set up a lot of the potential hard engage from things like the Diana and the Kaiser. She does want to dive in there, get that execute on someone. The question, of course, is going to be who is that target, because Caitlyn, she is going to be protected by a Karma. She is still going to be a target, but she does have a decent front line to play around. Locke, of course, if he does get caught out, is quite vulnerable. So in general, I think in terms of structure, I do actually really like what the Dream Team have put together. But there is potential, especially for that lock, if he gets out of hand on Skull Bullet. If Brattles is able to pilot that well, find the angles to try and shut down this Diana, get through that target, and then get towards one of those side lanes to try and pick off something like a Kaiser, then he can be that difference maker. I think the linchpin that kind of holds it all together. And then of course the Aurelia in the top lane. It's against a Mundo. It's not going to probably kill him a lot, but it is certainly going to get a free lane. So that certainly will help.
There's just there like you look at Team Skullbullets draft and there is so much damage. It's just if they can get out all that damage without too many of their targets being singled out and destroyed first. But yeah, they definitely don't lack damage at all.
Now, I did not hear what our production said. Hopefully, we're going to be getting into the game very, very soon. Oh, we're stalling, so let's just yap.
Yeah.
But yeah,
All right.
I do agree. I think like there is a much better structured fight on the side of the Dream Team. So, Caitlyn left untouched, just free hitting. Obviously, outranges the Kaiser. Expect her to get push priority in that bot lane alongside the Karma, of course. The Camille, famously, I think if you don't pick your moments, if you don't play around that bone plating and the passive combo on the Camille, you can just get poked out of the lane. So there is that potential angle. Get the J4 down there to disrupt that nice and early. Then it could certainly look good for them. But I think once we get to the team fights, if it's on an even footing and the Camille hasn't been blown out of the game, if the Mundo has been able to farm up to a couple of items, get those breakpoints online, then we're pretty much structured and ready to go on the Dream Team.
Yeah, I suppose it's kind of the concern though is like when you pick a Camille, right? It can get blown out of the game though.
Correct.
Quite early on as well too. Sometimes it just feels like instantly, oh, this is now very useless, and it's like I've got 30 more minutes of gameplay to play, and my support cannot do that much. So definitely going to be a lot of pressure on Bulldog as we get into game here.
let's go into game and let's find out whether any of the stuff we've been yapping out will absolutely come true. But yeah, very much focused on that Camille, I think. How you're able to affect the map early, because that is the Camille's playbook. And it's also, for the side of the Dream Team, Hustlin Beast, aka Tomas, not really on one of those heavy wave clear champions like the majors that we've been talking about. So Kai'Sa, like, if she gets ahead, if she's able to get the Q evolve online nice and quickly, able to get some items behind that Q, then the wave clear is going to not be there. But it's just not quite the same as something like a Mel or a Ziggs, so especially when you're looking at a Caitlyn Karma. So I do believe that that will just neutralize that potential sort of advantage, where you won't really be able to unlock Bulldog to play the rest of the map. But we'll see if that can be, you know, affected by that Mundo to get down towards the bot lane for Heine.
I mean, you can already see Mighty Bulldog here, though, on the top side already. With Rumble. Looking to cause a little bit of havoc early on, but that's what you need to do as Camille. And I don't know if Willy Wonka knows that he's here. He's gonna come in here now. That's early ignite, and that's probably just first blood going over.
Dead.
Shot does connect, stun connects, and there we go. That's dead Aurelio.
It's dead Aurelia, and honestly, that for an Aurelia, it just feels like game over. It feels like you just don't get to play the game from here on out, because Aurelia is so dependent on getting a good trade at level 1 with the Q stacked up and trying to push your opponent out of lane, get the good wave bounce that lets you kind of have the wave in position for your level 3, and then you're just not going to be able to get that. So it's going to channel the teleport, get back into lane. We'll be able to catch some of this, but as a disastrous start. Nice trade. Ooh, really nice trade.
Sam might be in danger here. Ignite's ticking, and Bradlers is putting the pressure on early. He's throwing the stakes in.
It is going to be the teleport for Sad Sam in the mid lane, so we'll be able to catch this wave and eventually teleport back. Now he has level 3 as well. Those trades are going to be a little bit nicer with the QE into the W combo going in. But you see down in that bot lane. Wait.
Back again. Sam is just stepping up too far, and Bradlers, he knows how to pilot this new champ, that's for sure.
Yeah, and
he's going to have to take an early back.
The W on that lock just so oppressive. Doesn't matter how much you trade back, he just heals back. Most of it obviously was nerfed, but locks unlocks
is here. He might just go for it. He's going to take a tower shot, and as he steps up too far, flashes in for the kill, but is going to get taken back by the tower.
He is going to trade his life for it, but that's a wave crashing on the tower, so you'll take that every day of the week for battles. And the key difference there was Fox. You can see in that bot lane, the CS lead was quite significant.
Willy Wonka under trouble now.
He's going to suffer for the rest of this lane.
But this is, yeah, as you're saying, it's looking really bad for him already. It has to flash out, gets to respond to the flash, and that's second death now in the top lane. BBP is just on a tear with that Rumble already.
Yeah, and this is Rumble, right? As soon as you get some levels over your opponent, you just don't. They don't get to play the game anymore. You absolutely do. So he's even going for the cloth armor. He is just chilling in this lane. He will be basically untouchable, even if he just wants to play waves. Now, the thing I was going to touch on is that bot lane matchup. We talked about how Kai'Sa, Camille, not the highest wave clear, not the highest ability to get priority, and that was what unlocked locks nice and early. That's a bit of a tongue twister. He was able to get to mid lane, he was able to affect the play, and that is going to be the difference, I think, for the side of Skullbullet, is just how that bot lane will play out. Wonka.
Can Willy Wonka get it back? He is going to. He's going to dash through the Rumble and turns it around, but here comes Bulldog, just out of range for the kick. And Captain Tofu is here to support his top laner. Are they going to go for a little bit more here with the J4? Only level 4. Flag and Drag is going to come out. Bulldog having to respect it. Keep his distance.
Bulldog is just going to be that support Camille. So Tofu here to help push up the wave, get that crash. Although Wonka,
they're just going to go into it. The ignite is used though. Is that going to stick?
Oh, the true damage.
I can't quite see the screen. Does get it early in the end, and unfortunately another great screen for Willy Wonka. Three times now at the 5-minute mark. Almost 5-minute mark.
Willy Wonka doing his best to audition for a spot on DK, because he is not having a good time on that Aurelia. That true damage ignite for final pick just is able to get it done. Nice kill, obviously, to pick up to start the playoff, but then just really wanting to make sure that that wave is going to be at a decent spot, try and get the push out, which, I mean, honestly, he has no TP, but he probably could have just backed off and the wave would have been fine. But decided to try and overcommit the play, and then unfortunately was punished for it. So that's
Just
what we're
all
doing,
violence here
similar.
in the top lane. As Willy Wonka, he's under pressure again as Tiny or N21 is got the briefcases out, and Willy Wonka's on the wrong side of the Mundo, and he does not have enough damage to take it away, and that final briefcase is going to connect. And it's 4 now.
Oh, yeah, this one is not looking good for anyone on Skullbullet, really. Just Rattles in that mid lane was able to get that one kill.
Hook
Lock.
shot from Bulldog is going to get Lox and Wrangle in a little bit of danger here, but they do fight themselves back.
They're fine. Like you can't really engage onto this Caitlyn at this stage of the game because it's just going to be the Caitlyn going ahead at this stage of the game. The Kai'Sa doesn't really have the range to interact, and then Caitlyn nets away, Karma gives you the shield and the Spook Beast, and then you just walk it out. Although
Bradless is coming down. Is going to get the flash out from Kamala's ult is used. Not going to follow him up though.
I don't think he had the flash, yeah. Otherwise, he would have absolutely gone for that, and that would be probably a double in size. But Brattles does get the damage down. Could look to redive here. But they should not.
21 is in the area now. So is Captain Tofu. There were 4v3 here in the bot lane already. Over Peacemakers, causing a bit of damage as well. Captain Tofu's going to have to take a step back, clear out the control ward, and reassess the situation.
Tofu could just pressure here. He's got the bot lane coming in, so someone has to respond. So it's a lose-lose situation for the Dream Team here. Tofu looking for a dive.
They
This is
might
a very squishy
go in on Mighty Bulldog now. It is definitely a squishy move. Flash is used, but it's not going to be enough. Lox has to flash out as well too. Wrangle is getting low, but no, just too much damage coming out of this trio of Tofu, Wrangle, and Lox. Can Sam come and clean it up? Might be a little bit too far away. Does he know Captain Tofu's in the bush? Oh, yep, Flag and Drag is going to connect. Flag and Drag flash out to survive for the moment. Diana cannot chase Jarvan down.
I couldn't see who had the flashes in that play, but I believe we will be seeing it again. No, we won't. No, we're who knows what's happening. That's all right. We are going to see the play again. This is the aftermath of the first play. This is dive on Mighty Bulldog. Very easy. This is a very squishy meal at this stage of the game. Lox gets out the RW to try and sustain through the dive, and then they just have enough DPS with the lethal tempo Caitlyn to just chop through this Mundo, who really isn't having, I think, the greatest of impacts on this game at this stage of the game. And then, speaking of not having a great time, well played.
Willy Wonka's still not enjoying himself too much as the equalizer comes down and might just burn the Aurelia to a crisp yet again, if I have 5 times if I'm not mistaken at this point.
Yeah, 5 deaths in the hole for this Aurelia. Really doesn't have a lot of fallback strategies, does this champion. So absolutely just suffering for the rest of this game. Will be very much that Vanguard's edge bot, nothing else as the grub circuit started up. That topside pressure does mean that BBP is in a great spot, which is probably going to buy them these grubs. Although Brattle's coming in, teleport from Wonka. This is ambitious.
Yeah, Wonka's back in again, and he's going to get out a bit of damage this time before going down eventually. But now Bradlow's in a little bit of danger. Sam and N21 are in the area. Bradlow's is chasing down Sam. He's going to get them this lock of a double kill already. And N21 now by himself, but Bulldog is coming up. Is this Camille going to get out Captain Tofu with the hook shot? Yes, it does connect.
So at the end of the day, I think the needle doesn't really move on that. It is going to be 2 kills going over to Skullbullet. Just that one grub picked up, which will no doubt be cleaned up by the Dream Team very, very shortly. And they do get themselves a blue to walk away with. So very even tale of 2 sides of the map here. I will say, one thing that has been true of basically every game that I watched when I was reviewing, researching for the series, is this has been an incredibly bloody tournament. This has been, we've been 30 kills apiece on almost every game, as it is going to be Heine walking away from that grab, doesn't want to risk it. Brattles?
Not quite yet. Brattles and Sam just playing with each other right now, testing to see who's going to make the first move. And both of them have so much engaged. You can see it here. Brattles dashing in.
Look at the CS numbers though, Skullbullet. They're very much running the riff with the exception of Wonka up in the top side, who will be that one sore point. But At this stage, just so much pressure across the map has really unlocked Tofu to be active across the map. I'm surprised he hasn't gone up to clear those grubs, which is probably what Heine was worried about.
Battles, yeah, could be in a little bit of trouble here, but Tofu's coming here to rescue his mid laner, and now it's Bulldog does get out of the Cataclysm before it connects. Everyone lives.
And
except Willy Wonka. Willy Wonka is not living. No, he does not get to live at all. I feel like we're cutting to his death every couple minutes right now.
Yeah, I think we should cut the tape at some point. He's going to find Bulldog.
Bulldog is found. Wrangle and Captain Tofu are in the area, but so is Heine. Just going to take the first turret, though. Wrangle's going to pick that one up, and this early Caitlyn damage is a lot, and it's only going to get worse.
Yeah, it is, and I believe that will be the Hex Optic picked up. It has to be at this stage of the game. We'll see, wait to see what the items look like. It's here's the kill on Wonka. Not exactly what you want to see on this Aurelia. I think you just got stat checked. I'm going to make the bold prediction you got stat checked. Yep, there's the stats, there's the ultimate, and there's BBP taking absolutely no damage as soon as he has Harveys. And yeah, Ignite, and then he just burns to death. You don't get to play the game as Aurelia into what is now going to be a Leandri's Bearing Rumble, 4-2-2. He is absolutely massive. The only recourse you probably have is getting Aurelia out of that lane, and with role quests, you don't really get to do that anymore. So we've swapped. I don't know if Aurelia has the quest complete. I have to think it's not.
Locke got Diana somewhere there.
Oh.
Bradley did take a solo kill in the mid lane, off screen, so that Locke is 4-1 now. Definitely dangerous.
Yeah, Willy Wonka definitely saying thanks Braddles for this game. He is going to be off the side lane, and he does actually have the quest complete. I stand corrected. So, yeah, he will... Wait, no, am I reading this right? Hey, production.
TDT is now in the area as Bulldog is going to engage. Stun does land onto Wrangle. Hextech ultimatum is used, and Wrangle is going to take the first death of the match, and now Lox is the next on the chopping block. Heine is here just to ensure that one does go down, and yeah, great little 3v2 for the side of TDT. TBP was patient in the bush, and he took his took the 2.
It's just a bizarre choice. Here's the kill on Braddles. You'll probably see it used, I'm guessing, into probably ult. Does he have ult? Yeah, ult. Yeah, so ult gets the execute threshold, and then he has W, so he is able to beat base with Reckless Abandon, and then he hit the kill. Cool champion, does a lot of damage. Very squishy though, has his weaknesses, but Braddle's piling it very, very well, and now has that Lich Bane, which means that first execution is going to come in just that little bit quicker. But it's just a bizarre choice by Skullboy on that top side to even entertain playing around the Rumble at this stage, because you just do not want to do that. Wherever this Rumble is, just be somewhere else. And you are right. He played it very well on BBP's side, but just don't go top, ever. Or don't go where he is.
Yeah, just ignore him. Don't give him anything else to kill, anything else to barbecue.
At least not until you're forced to deal with him once the teamfight starts. Equilibrium has been restored. It is going to be Wonka up towards the top side facing against BBP. Does have the Blade of the Ruin King, but that's BBP with Steel Cats. He's got a Leandries. You don't get to even be on in the same postcode as him. And while Braddle's on this boss side, he's looking for something. Probably not going to find it, but
Not quite just yet. Keep pushing up their advantage in the bot side of the map. They did give over Dragon.
Yeah, interestingly, it actually was it is the Storm Razor picked up by the Caitlyn first. Looking at the slideshow, Wonka, why do you keep doing this?
But the slideshow is just going to be Wonka dying for the 8th time now.
BBP's power print presentation on how I counter Wonka. Step 1, get my support to top lane. Make it a 2.
Yep. And now Bradley is going to just walk away from Sam here.
Pressure
Got a couple
across
plates.
the map. Yeah, pressure across the map. It doesn't really... It feels like it should matter more that Wonka is just suffering in this lane, but when you've got this Caitlyn Karma who can just get permanent mid-prio and play pivot around the jungler, Bulldog is going to try and find some damage.
Stun
There's the
lands,
engage.
Hextech Ultimatum is not back on Wrangle again, and it was a bit far up on the mid wave. Maybe should have been back a little bit. Didn't have the backup, but Tofu is now looking to avenge the double Cataclysm. Ult out of Bradless is going to connect. That slow is massive, and Heine might be in danger. Has to use the ultimate to get some extra move speed and get away from that. Rift Herald probably going over to Team Skullbullet.
Brattle's once again the savior of this game alongside Captain Tofu, finding the angles into the fights, even as their AD carry goes down. That execute threshold, I would actually love to know where that's currently sitting, because it's going to be creeping up there. He's got a lot of kills from that thing. Will eventually have the Shadow Flame online for even more execute damage. And then they're going to have this Herald, so they'll probably be able to throw that down either towards that bot side to open that up, but more likely it will go mid, just to open up more space on the map. And you can see they put Wonka in the side lane. He's just going to try and live there, probably will get the hull break online. I don't imagine he'll ever group up with the team. It's just going to be looking for these isolated picks with the rest of the squad, with Tofu and Brattle trying to just keep working their way through this game, never try and get into those extended fights.
That is exactly right. And you can already see 2 towers to none for the side of Skullbullet. Definitely pushing their advantages, but TDT is going to half the lead with that top lane tower take.
Hey, thanks for pointing it out, because I was looking for gold for so long. This graphic is cool, but it's taken me a while to get used to reading it. But yeah, it's a very close game, actually. And as I said, this tournament has been very, very bloody, so a lot of trade kills back and forth, a lot of just overextensions that get punished very, very quickly, and we are very much dead even. It does feel like the pressure is very much on the side of Skullbullet just because of how their comp interacts with the others when it is in this neutral state, and the fact that Brattles is 5-1-0 and will have that Shadow Flame open and available soon. But who's engaged?
Oh, massive gank here onto Bulldog. He's gonna have to Hextech Ultimatum, but doesn't mean much inside the Cataclysm. And Willy Wonka is still alive, does actually get some damage off this time, but in the end, Captain Tofu and himself are gonna go down, and now TDT are looking to press the issue. Bradless has to flash out. Heine gets a kill onto Karma, and Lox is taking another death as well, too.
I
Wrangle's
really want to see
get
that
back
fight
in the
again.
turret.
I think you just get walked down here. Fighting without that Caitlyn present, I believe, was how that fight went down, because most of the time they were just throwing damage at the Mundo. Kai'Sa, untouched on the backline, was able to get enough damage through that they were able to pretty handily win that fight on TDT. And again, just another baffling choice by Skullbullet.
Easy solo kill for Bradless here. Just absolutely filthy on the lock. Yep, final state connects.
Yeah, there's that Shadow Flame as well, so he hits like an absolute truck. And yeah, it feels like Skullbullet have very much won their respective lanes with the exception of Wonka. And yeah, so no Caitlyn present. She doesn't know why he doesn't take the side. Especially with the Mundo there, no one does any sort of significant damage to them. And then as soon as VPP shows up, as soon as the Equalizer goes down, you've got a Kai'Sa present, and you've got the extremely fed Rumble, who's just able to outdamage you. So the point I was about to make,
so much damage.
Yeah, the point I was about to make is that it feels like this team just, despite playing very, very well, just sometimes makes some really baffling decisions about where and when to fight. In that case, the choke point as well, straight into exactly what the Rumble wants to fight into. Just really odd choices.
Well, they were just in the wrong side of the jungle there. But they are going to get this Ocean Dragon.
Dragon picked up, so that is going to be tying up those dragons one apiece. Now it's going to be a question of where they can go and what they can do with this pressure that they have. I think they've completed the thought process in their head that, okay, we get prio, we rotate in jungles, we do things, but without full information, they're just committing to fights that they shouldn't really be able to, they shouldn't have to, right? So it needs to be played a little bit slower by Skullbullet. They need to find the information first, get the vision down, and then make an informed decision about where and when they're going to fight. Wrangle, I hold my breath every time he steps up, because I feel like he's just one tag away from instant death at the hands of a Kai'Sa.
Yeah. Does feel the way a little bit. Very vulnerable there alone in that lane. And Willy Wonka a little bit vulnerable now, has the flash. Hextech Ultimatum does land, so I think we have seen this one before. And Kai'Sa ult just to, you know, why not get an assist, I suppose.
That is Baron spawning, 12 seconds. Could potentially be the angle you look for on the side of Skull Bullet, but not quite going to have that objective available to them, so reasonably well timed by the Dream Team. Pressure on the top side for Brattles to continue to mine those plays for more gold. Really want to see them set up some more vision in that top side jungle. They do have the Angulus's warded.
Bulldog might have stepped up a little bit too far. Has to flash out. Cataclysm onto 2. Sam and Bulldog are in a little bit of trouble, but they're under tower, and Heine's here on the Mundo. He's got a lot of big health bars, so they're going to walk away for Skull Bullet. This is a 4v4 they probably don't want to take anymore, as the stun does land onto Bradlers. He does get the kill onto the Camille with Wrangle's help, but he goes down, and it's going to be a shutdown going over to TDT now. Sam might be in trouble here on the edge. Captain Tofu is going to get focused down by the Mundo. Meanwhile, Willy Wonka, I think 11 deaths now, and it's a 4v3 in the end.
The only thing that really makes that not a disaster for Skull Bullet is
they want more.
Wait.
Flash Flag and Drag in from Tofu. Does get the flash out from Sam.
Flash traded is going to be a little bit of something back to themselves. But
Windows by himself.
they just can't kill him. They just can't get through this front line at this point. Whenever the Mundo shows up, you can see it's just full retreat because Brattles can't catch him. And he attacks and dies himself here at the hands of Sam. And then you've got not enough armor pen, you don't have the War Johns online, so you do damage to the Mundo, but it's just don't take so much time, and then you're giving free reign to the Kai'Sa, to the BBP on the Rumble, to just walk through your entire team. You see they have to pull the cord, they have to get the retreat off, and that's the end of the fight. Really waiting for some sort of armor pen to come through for the Caitlyn, so these fights are a little bit more reasonable. At this stage, again, it comes back to that decision making. Why are you even forcing that fight? You really need to know where everyone is going to be, get that one pick and get out, because that's how your mid laner in particular operates, but they're getting caught out every time they try and overextend to these plays.
It's in the enemy jungle again as well too, and again kind of in a little bit of a choke point like last time. That's not where they want to fight, especially into a Mundo that can just walk in there and dominate the space.
Yeah, absolutely, and you do sort of understand it.
They're going to engage onto the Mundo just right away. Why not? Cataclysm does land, but this Mundo, he's got so much health, and he's got a lot of regen as well too. Bulldog is going to get the Hextech Ultimatum onto Wrangle. Probably going to pay for it with his life though in the end. So overall, a little bit of an advantage to SKB.
1-for-1. I didn't see how the Aurelia died, but I'm guessing that.
Oh yeah, true. I didn't see that as well.
On side lane.
I'm kind of out of tune now with Willy Wonka dying on Aurelia.
Yeah, it's just a reality of the game that we've become accustomed to. It really is very much this 4v5, hoping that Wonka is able to get something done on the side lane. Here's the engage again. Oh, Wonka died. Okay. We probably don't have to see this. I mean, at this stage, if you are this behind, maybe you do just cosplay a cannon minion and just throw yourself at the side lanes and try and get as much done as possible, but he is giving a lot of gold over in the process. So whether it's worth it is subjective. It's not subjective, it's bad.
Probably. They still do have more towers, despite being in a gold deficit.
That's true. And the Caitlyn Karma definitely is going to help when it comes to not only defending this mid lane, but also just sieging when you do get that advantageous fight. But right now it just feels like you don't really have those opportunities anymore. As they both start to group up on both sides, you're not really going to be able to chop through this Mundo. So going to be on Brattles, I think, to find the angles into the back of the fight, try and cut out the Kai'Sa before the fight really begins in earnest. Or really just Bulldog, as he has done a couple of times, just overextends. Start off with Baron.
Mundo's walking over from the Dragon Pit after taking out that Kentech Drake. Stun onto Bulldog, and that is an instantaneous death for the Camille.
Just exploded, and that's exactly what they wanted. This is what we wanted to see from Skull Bullet. Get that one pick, reset, look for the next one. Just eke out the advantages, just exactly like this. And they're going to probably go back to this Baron. Now that Bulldog is down, try and keep pressuring that objective, try and see who they can fish for, because they didn't really commit a whole lot to that. It was just the free three Brattles Qs into the E that got the execute. They still got a lot
No
of
ult,
on their
no
side.
flashes.
Yeah, exactly. PvP.
PvP though, big equalizer. Gonna do a lot of burn damage already. And Bradless is singled out here. He's gonna get a lot of damage out to Sam first, but he does die in the end. And now this Mundo is, yeah, not dying just yet. The Flag and Drag knocks up a couple, but he's popped the ult and he's regaining more health than he's losing. BBP is gonna get onto the Karma and Caitlyn duo, and that's gonna take out the bot lane for SKB. And now Willy Wonka is gonna take the number 13.
No one kills this Mundo. No one does any damage to
Jam
this Mundo.
Bulldogs.
Such a Jin pick in this current meta, because you just don't have anyone willing to do able to do damage to him, especially with the locked in. So that's going to mean Baron picked up for the side of the Dream Team, and it really just is all off the back of Tiny just standing in front of the team, being absolute brick wall, and BBP with an incredible teleport, throwing down that equalizer just at the right time. I don't know if we're going to see it again. I was going to make a comment about the smite time, but we didn't get to see it, unfortunately.
Probably doesn't matter when there's no enemy
what is it?
jungler.
Yeah, okay. We don't get to see it. 630? I mean, that's damage.
45
oh, 0 milliseconds. No, wait, is that actually real? 40, okay, that's 45
45.
I really wanted to see this graphic before, so I can figure out what I'm looking at.
Yeah. 0 ping smite at 0 milliseconds. Pretty
Yeah,
crazy.
Heine is living in the Riot Games data center right now.
Yeah. He's in the server room just on his laptop.
Plugged his laptop in, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna be all mid here for SKB. But here comes Heine, just showing face.
Bulldog on the flank. Could look to catch up Rattles, but is not going to commit to this one. Definitely not alone this stage of the game as a Camille. He will just get exploded. It does mean that pressure is seated. Going to be getting a lot of damage down the mid lane tower.
Take it.
It does. Yeah, they absolutely just will just take it. Feels like, again, if you're in neutral, you're perfectly happy to skull for it. But when they do commit to those plays, that's when they're running into brick wall of the Mundo, and there's enough damage that gets thrown at them from behind the Mundo that they don't really get to play the game out. So really want to try and just grind this game out, try and just group up, push down these objectives, and just have Willy Wonka trying to apply some pressure on the side lanes, as he's going to have to teleport out. He doesn't want to take Death 14, unless we're already there yet, which...
Nah, that's where he's calling it at. It's, no one kills me 14 times before he's telling the rest of his team.
It is just a very bloody game, but you see TDT very much have the advantage in this game. They're going to be pushing down this top lane tower, which they definitely will get. It doesn't really feel like we're seeing... Okay, here's the engage.
Milk. Equalizer onto Lox, and Lox is just taken out.
Point I was going to make is exactly that. Doesn't feel like we're seeing the proactive engages competing with reactive.
Well, here it comes. Bradlers with the ult onto 3. Is it going to be enough to do much? Does take out the Camille. Gets a double kill into the Kai'Sa as well, too. And Sam is all alone. And Willy Wonka might get a bit of damage out. Looks like they will. And yes, the Aurelia is now online. Nobody kills him 14 times. And TDT is going to back off.
Aurelia scaling champion. You heard it here first. No Baron to take.
Oh,
BBP
wow.
is
BBP
go
having
down.
to go into the Zhonya's, but not enough health to get out after the fact.
There's going to be a few kills going over back and forth. Not really going to move the needle on this game, but Wonka definitely going to be feeling a lot better after that one. Able to finally get himself a kill. Voice Staff picked up at Brattles means that he is going to continue hitting like a truck. But it's been a very, I think, reserved game from TDT. Just doesn't feel like we've seen that proactivity from them. It's just that one engage that we saw in that previous fight. But for the most part, they've been able to play reactive. We haven't really seen them try to push the pace so far. So we need to see them do a little bit more in this game. As, I mean, we're just trading back and forth. Like,
And it's still close.
yeah.
It's going to be 2-all for Dragons after Tofu
Solid
takes this
game.
one. It's only a 3k gold lead. It was 5k earlier, but after that good play by SKB in the mid lane, they took it down by 2k.
Yeah, I'm baffled as to how these fights are feeling honestly this close. And I think a lot of it probably just comes down to Bulldog. Like, I don't know where his Hextech ultimatum went in that previous fight, but it doesn't feel like he's finding that key target. Perhaps he's getting blown up before he's able to get there. Keep an eye on in the next fight, but it's just very even between these two teams. It's hard to say who has any sort of significant advantage, even if it's just the two dragons apiece.
Yeah, totally. The jungle, though, is now all firmly in control of TDT.
Sapping away those resources, so that will help them keep that gold lead pretty much exactly where it is. It is 3k, but again, we're at that stage where what does that really mean? I think the key item breakpoint we're probably waiting for is Tomas getting that IE so he can have that more sort of upfront burst on that target that he does jump on. But so far, these fights have been very grindy, you know, throwing damage from behind the Mundo. So the Rage Blade has been putting in work, but there is that IE picked up. So kind of putting out a lot of damage.
Yep, exactly right on that. And Tomas, he's turned it around a little bit. He was almost down 2k individual gold, and now he's up 1.6.
Truly bizarre game. Tofu trying to look to be engaged.
Yes, but
Here's
here's the X-Tech ultimatum this time, and the Cataclysm does get the response. Ult from Diana does pull a few in, and instant deletion onto Tomas' Kai'Sa, and Bulldog is going to get taken out next. Bradlers he's just taking them out one by one here. Single target damage is immense, but Mundo does more damage anyway while having more health, and it might be a Mundo diff here as Willy Wonka is taken down, and Akarma is not able to take out a BBB and Heine both at the same time here.
And they just can't kill this Mundo, and they can't kill BBP through the Zhonyas. He puts out so much damage, and even though it is just these two standing, this could well be all they need here, as we're going to see the fight back. Tofu, again, just an odd choice to try and look for the engage here. It ends up paying for it very, very quickly as the Hextech ultimatum comes in. Beautiful engage here by Sam on the Diana. Is able to hold everyone in place. Flash forward by Heine, just gets the execute kill. And then from here, who kills anyone on this team? Braddles doesn't do any appreciable damage to tanks, even with the Void Staff completed. And then, like, Wonka does nothing. So this Mundo is absolutely untouchable. And something that I think we have to consider for the rest of the tournament. I don't know if this is Fearless. Are we in Fearless for this BO2? I assume we are, because we probably don't want to see that again. Yeah. So there is at least that. But
yeah,
it's just, you don't get to kill this guy.
Yeah, and he's got Randuin's now as well too, so
yeah, Grim.
Yeah.
Producing those crits as well. Even against the Shadow Flame, going to come in handy.
That is exactly right. Almost 500 stacks of Heartsteel.
I actually don't know. So there's a lot of weird stuff in League of Legends that looks like a crit but isn't a crit. And I assume Lock has those because the 3-stack Q kind of looks like a crit. So I don't know how that interacts with things like Randuin. So I'm going to assume it probably doesn't. Flash by Sam.
Okay. Yeah, instant flash. But he still is going to call it out by the Flagon Dragon, the Cataclysm. It's going to go into the Zhonyas. Is this Mundo going to survive this time? This is their best chance to get him. Willy Wonka is going to use the ultimate to try to slow him down and get out some damage. Stun is also going to connect. Randall's
yeah, but they're losing
firing,
their base.
But it's just, yeah, the base is going down and Mundo's taking more health than he's taking yet again. I'm not too sure what they're doing right now. As, yeah, the base is a little bit broken out here now. As Tofu's trying to make a difference onto BBP. They're going to clear the wave at least. Teleport from Willy Wonka.
Still have the Caitlyn recalling, but just so odd by...
They're onto BBP here. Stun
they
connects.
get BBP.
And the Zhonyas is going to be another 2 seconds alive, but they do get BBP, which is big. Baron is up, and that's a lot of damage now for TDT, no longer there.
It is now 3 kills. They do have minions streaming in on the bot and mid, but mid has been equalized just that little bit. So Baron could be the chance to equalize this game and
yeah,
try and fight their way
Angle
back
must
in.
have taken out Heine there off screen when we thought he wasn't going to get taken out.
Yeah, he was very low, so I'm guessing you're exactly right. Would have been that snipe from the Caitlyn that picked it up. And now they can try and push out these lanes. So that threat of the mid and bot kind of neutralized just that little bit by the Baron. They are also going to have the Chemtech Drake to pick up, but honestly, this feels like you just kind of leave it to Chemtech Drake, try and get these waves pushed out. They'll reset now.
Well, I mean, the last thing you want playing into Mundo is for him to have Chemtech Soul.
It's true.
I mean, yeah, it feels really bad then.
Yeah, but it wasn't exactly going to be the soul there, so they are going to give over a little bit of time to get that Drake, and we'll see what that ends up meaning for them, as they're going to lose a lot of their dragon, a lot of their topside jungle in trade. Wonka. Oh my god!
Never mind. I didn't even see that happen so quick.
Yeah, locked out of the
Flashed
game.
before my eyes, yeah. I was about to say, and there goes Bradley's, but he'd already gone.
There for
Already
the
in the
grace of
rearview
lock.
mirror for the Camille.
Yeah, this is what I've been saying. These isolated picks really do work for Skullbullet when they can get the lock into full effect. You know, find someone in rotation, especially someone like the Camille who's very squishy, and just cut her out of the game and then figure out what to do with that advantage you built next. Right now, this Baron, it hasn't really allowed them to push out any waves. It hasn't really allowed them to get any threat on the base. It just feels like it's been a bit of a lifeline for them, just to give themselves precious more time, maybe get some more items on the Caitlyn, who I don't know what she has in the inventory at the moment. We shall see in a moment, because, yeah, she's not full build, but she does have the Lord Doms, which is about as important as an item could be in this game. But it does feel like if she gets just that little bit more damage online, gets maybe the Hex Optics online, so she can stand back just a little bit more from the action that's coming away, outrange this Kai'Sa just a little bit more, will definitely help.
Do have both teams now posturing in the blue side jungle. Around it at least. Neither wanting to take that final step into the area.
This is going to be that threat of soul in 3 minutes time for Skullbullet. TDT still have very much that control, and I think it's just the ability to pivot around this Mundo wherever he goes, and he does go wherever he pleases. The wave clear can follow him, and they can just occupy any space they want. So right now, slowed it down, looking to just play their waves. SKB is going to take a chonk. But we are really building up for that next fight, which will likely be around that dragon in 2 minutes 30, Jacob.
Yeah, and it's only 4 seconds left in the Baron, so they won't have that buff anymore. That is finishing just now. Gold's been reduced. Gold lead, sorry, has been reduced slightly, at least, for SKB.
Definitely go to help, but we're at the stage of the game where that gold starts to matter less and less, and because it's actually going to be a Bloodthirster or a Guardian Angel for the Caitlyn. Probably, I would imagine the Bloodthirster gets that a little bit more value in this game, because you're just, in theory, as long as you don't have a Diana diving on your face, you are potentially able to free hit. I can see the argument for either in that regard. You know what? That should be a Guardian Angel. I'm thinking about it more. Kai'Sa Diana. Although, engage.
Comes Bulldog Hextech Ultimatum back onto Tofu again, and Willy Wonka is going to get a lot of damage out, and he's going to still survive there. So much damage, and gets out with the Blast Cone. Mundo's in trouble, has to flash out. Heine's going to regenerate some health. He's going to come back in, but not soon enough to save his mid laner. Sam is taken out. Recall from Willy Wonka is going to land before they catch him out. Great catch there for SKB. And Wonka, he's a threat, actually.
Yeah, actually is able to get a decent amount done in that fight, but Tofu leading the charge, engaging in with the Spirit Visage, is able to soak up so much damage from this very largely magic-based comp on the side of TDT, so he's able to get in there, disrupt, and then the damage comes through in that corridor, and BBP, don't think he had the Equalizer ready and available, so they timed out that ultimate very well. We'll see it momentarily. Okay, came out at the start of the fight. And then just Rattles jumps in with the execution and is able to clean up the rest of the fight. Doesn't really matter if the Mundo's in their face. Good re-engage by Tofu. They're able to piece out the fight with cutting down Sam. And then Rattles is able to get the chase down and draw out the flashes from the rest of the team. So a well-executed fight, and I didn't think the Equalizer was available. I think the issue there was that it actually was just a little bit off target.
Yeah, to the left. SKB are gonna push the issue. I assume that they're engaging some more. Yeah, they're getting onto Heine, and the Mundo gets blown up. Ooh. I've never seen the Mundo get blown up like that before. And Samaz is gonna have to take a bit of health back before he decides he wants to do anything else on the map.
Big damage on Tomas as well. He just cut out of that fight immediately, and that is going to mean that game tech direct picked up. Crucial that you do deny it away from the Mundo, as you say. Wonka wants more. He gets the stun.
He does want more. He's going to get more. This Relia might actually be very dangerous now. Teleport in from BBP is going to pair up with Bulldog, but Bulldog's just blown up by the Cataclysm and Wrangle. BBP is going to take out the jungler for SKB, but the backup has arrived. Wonk is here. Lox is here. Sonya's Flame Spitter is onto nobody, and they're going to get the dragon anyway. They don't need Smite because they've got 4 members and no one from TDT to challenge them.
It's a bit chaotic as no one is in position to try and even defend that dragon. And they are going to get themselves that Chem Tech Soul available. And Baron is going to be picked up in short order, so no one to defend. SKB, they find the fights.
Baron of the game.
Yeah, it's been a brawl.
Yeah. Wow. I think the Baron went down quicker than the Mundo does.
Yeah, that is very true. Especially with he now has the Protoplasm harness online, so if he gets the ultimate off and gets the Protoplasm proc, then he will just heal up to full. You basically have to kill him 2-3 times at the stage.
I feel like normally as a Mundo you feel if you're 10-3-4 in a 40-minute game, you probably don't think you're going to lose at all. But the gold lead is nothing right now.
Yeah, and the gold just does not matter. We have the Bloodthirster online for the Caitlyn. She has gone for that option. Probably will be the Guardian Angel next. You generally will tend to build both items, just a question of which one is first. And I don't mind the Bloodthirster as long as you're able to avoid a lot of the damage you're coming your way from the Caitlyn and the Kai'Sa. I think you can work through the rest of the fight pretty nicely. So that will come in handy for Wrangle as these fights kind of extend. Now with the Baron, it's weird to see Wonka actually playing the game.
Yeah, he did unfortunately take that 14th death, so we're back onto nobody kills Wonka 15 times. And he's doing a lot of damage in the meantime. They hit the top tower, but has he stepped up too far this time? Probably not. He's just gonna take him out. Double kill for Bradless on the lock. Triple kill. Quadra kill. Is he gonna get the penta? Yes, he does, and that's a penta
No way!
For Bradless to end out game 1 for SKB. They were down. We thought they might be out, but they turned it around.
It's been a brawl back and forth, but Skull Bullet, they do get it done. They group up in the team fight. They get the massive lock-hold across everyone, and then as soon as that thing hits, I would love to know how high that execute threshold was, because that looked like it just tore everyone apart. And incredible game by Skull Bullet. This is a best of 2. There will be a chance to bounce back for the Dream Team, but they do get it done, and it was bloody. It was everything that was promised from how this tournament has going. Yeah, let's see the pentakill again. That was so quick. Yeah, let's see it. Let's see it. So we're grouped up. We get Wonka engaging. I think he does get the Vanguard's Edge across everyone, so there's decent damage going down. Caitlyn free hitting. And then where does the lock ult actually hit? I think it was the 3 people on the edge of the fight, and then it's just the squishies left. And he just cleans up. I would also love to know... I'd love to know also, at what point did his W wear off? Because he took basically no damage.
Gentlemen,
Was
that was a 50-minute oceanic banger. You have some of the biggest names, everyone putting in the work, and then you're telling me that's how we end it? We're talking about the greatest picks of all time. We're talking about Willy Wonka Irelia. We're talking about BBP Rumble. Well, you know what's on that list? Rattle's Lock. Rattle's Lock is absolutely on par with any of these picks. I want to delve into each. First of all, we got to talk about Dre. We got to talk about that Camille. That Camille, so useful in that early game. I mean, we talked about before the game as well. We were saying how mental is so important. All these supports are roaming top. What happened with that Camille weapon? What happened? What went on in that game with that Camille?
We saw 2 sides of the same coin for the Camille, right? First, she's extremely useful, like you say. She was able to get that first kill for BBP on the Aurelia, never made it an honest 1v1. And then from that point, the Aurelia was just basically unable to play the game. BBP was huge. So as far as the debate between which of these top laners is better at this tier of play, I think we can still keep that one on the shelf. That's it was never fair. But
no, that's true.
Yeah, But BBP was absolutely stellar. And the fact that he lost this game, even with the massively fed Mundo, is frankly absurd. But going back to the point about the Camille, we saw the other side of it, right? We saw when you don't have that passive, when you don't have bone plating, you go in, you are a Camille who's built effectively full damage, and you just die. Like full damage on a support income. So you just die a lot. And unfortunately, a lot of those plays, which I think did go really well for Skullbullet, started with BBP, with Bulldog getting caught out and not having the support there to back up the rest of the team.
Yeah, in which case you're saying, so you're thinking a lot of these team fights ended up a bit of a, when they should have been a clean number imbalance, ended to be messy and allowed this time for Willy Wonka to come back online. What are your thoughts on that match, Jake? You thinking, what was your reasoning, I guess, when it looked so good for BBP, for Heine, for Sad Sam even? What was the downfall of that comp? Was it just that lock? Was it what was your breakdown?
I think sometimes, I mean, you can see during that early to mid game when they were dominating every single team fight, right? Like they had the right idea where they were in these choke points where the equalizer could get used and it would do damage. The Mundo could stand in front of everybody, so Bradlers didn't have that access to the back line. But once the game was opened up a lot more and there were less towers on the map, and suddenly all the fights were happening in the mid and side lanes where there was so much more space for Team Skullbullet to get that single target access, it kind of turned around a little bit, and they played around the Mundo quite well. They would let Bulldog engage, take him out, and then it would be a 5v4.
Yeah, I think you're really nailed it on there. Yeah, I think a lot of these fights were so messy. They were long, extended fights, and when you have a comp that relies so heavily on that equalizer, and we do got to talk about BBP's really good ults at the start. In the first early to mid game, ults were wonderful, and we were hitting pretty much every target. We were using that Hextech ultimatum, trapping people down, and got so much magic damage. What I started to notice in the later games, that equalizer was just what it had in that early game. We weren't, there was this fight. It was that fight in the top jungle. Yeah, you remember it, Weapon.
Yep.
Equalizer was slightly off the Cataclysm, just allowed the rest of Skullbullet to pull back, wait for that equalizer to end, and then we can just jump them. The Tiger in heat, we can just jump all over the Dream Team, and it was over just like that. We also got to mention Will. I mean, to be down 12 kills, 12 deaths, to come back in a strong force. Every member was working in harmony. I want to talk MVPs. Start with you, Weapon. Is it just Brattles? Is it just Brattles putting on the performance of a lifetime? Is it just that easy to give it to him?
Yeah, it might actually be. It's hard to pick an MVP in this game because it was so brawly. There was no real standout sort of performer. I think there would have been a world where I would have given it to BBP for a lot of those ultimates in the early game, which really did. Like the first time they got Baron in that game was very much just BBP.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, absolutely.
The ultimate coming in, I believe he used I think it was a Hex Gate behind the team, and then it was a great equalizer. But then, yeah, the fact that there was a pentakill coming down from Locke, and I will just say, Locke ultimate is bullshit. Because, like...
I agree completely.
99% slow.
Yeah, it's not just that, but it's the exact same as the old Smolder passive, back when he would have full stacks and he would get every kill if you drop someone below the threshold, because that's how it works. It doesn't matter that a lot of that damage actually came from the Caitlyn. He got the credit. So I will say he played an incredible game. He was very much the reason why their team was in it. But that pentakill, like it's a little bit fake. It's just a little bit fake because that champion's nonsense.
It's true. It's true. I see what you're saying. Jacob, your thoughts on this? Where would you give your MVP? Where were your eyes throughout that match?
I mean, I personally, I don't think there's any competition for Bradlers, because even you can say, sure, other members had a lot of damage, and Wrangle did a lot of damage on the Caitlyn. I think at like the 35-minute mark, though, there was maybe a 2k gold lead for everybody on TDT, except mid lane, where Bradlers had like a 6k gold lead by himself. I mean, that's not
I want to get into
right? That's just Bradlers.
That is him. I really want to talk about the Diana pick. I think, you know, we're looking at Bulldog. You know, the Camille, it had that use early game. It didn't have that great use late game. This Diana pick never took flight. You know, and we have to be brutally honest here. It never took flight. Weapon, in your mind, in that comp, what was the Diana's main use? What was its reason for being there?
Yeah, like, I understood the pick. I said it in the draft. Like, if you can play ahead of the lock and you don't give them the opportunity to take the aggressive trades with, you know, stacking the Q into the E, and you have a shield to block a lot of that damage coming in, that means you potentially do out-trade. But the problem is that you're exactly right. It never found the angles in the fight, except for that one fight in the topside jungle near the blue, where Diana was able to catch the Caitlyn at the start of the fight. I think Lox was also in there, and the Mundo was able to flash and get the kill to clean up. That was the only time we ever saw Sam actually kind of play the game on the Diana, and then the rest of the time just was not really present for the fights. So it's a good idea. I got it, but we just did not really see it come to fruition.
Yeah, I really have to agree with you. And it's something that I saw a couple thoughts echoed throughout that game that I had was in the drafting phase. Sad Sam is eating about 3 bans. He's eating 3 bans, and his champ pool is deep. And I considered, like, and a question I guess was raised is, yes, he's eating 3 bans. Can he still perform even though he's not on his strongest picks? And in this case, we did see a bit of a downpour from this Diana. So I'm wondering, and I guess a question to you, Jacob, do you think we're going to get a refocus on banning out Sad Sam, keeping him on the back foot, and maybe enforcing some of these weaker picks instead of his GOAT picks?
I have no doubt about the fact that they're going to ban the, Yasuo and Young again. I think that's just going to be banned against him most of the time. And to be honest, I think it's going to be the same bans, because I don't even think you want Tomas to get the Draven, because he did have a good game for, I'd say, about 75% of that. He was ahead and making a lot of difference. So I don't think any of the bans will change. I think they're still going to force Sam to play in a champ he's not. I mean, I'm sure he's familiar on pretty much the entire mid lane champ pool, but at least something that he's not insane on or very well known for.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and this is a one more question that I really want to get to the bottom of, because league games are so decided by draft. That it's like the holy trinity of league games. You either are decided by draft, you're decided by players, or you're decided by unforeseen events. In this case, and this question is to you, Weapon, in this case, what was this game decided by? Was it just Brattle's raw skill? Was it the lock champion? Was it the coordination from Skull Bullet? What was the deciding factor, I guess?
I actually don't know, and I think to kind of unfortunately put your boy under the bus, I really do think that one fight in the topside jungle where the Rumblelot was just that little bit off really did feel like the turning point, because that was where the lock was able to actually come into full effect. They had the great ultimate into the execution. Tofu was able to re-engage on the J4, and the Caitlyn actually had that pocket to play in, which did so much damage. And then from there, it really was the thing that put them back on even ground, and then they were able to play around Willy Wonka kind of being this pseudo tank. Just kind of didn't really matter that he didn't do damage. He was in the enemy's faces, so he was creating space.
It genuinely, I remember watching it happen, and my fingers curled around my gamer chair, because if that Rumble ult was just a little bit downright, they would push them out of that sort of corridor towards Wolves, and you could have full control of the fight. And it's so unlucky that just that split decision skill shot really just failed to hit the mark there. And something I want to point out of missing the mark was the move speed from Karma. I want to talk about the pick here, Lox. Jacob, what did you think about Lox's performance throughout that game?
I think early game Lox did a pretty good job actually, making a difference. He was in all 3 lanes and got Wrangle ahead as well too, during that early game. And I think it's an enchanter support, right? So you're not gonna see any crazy flashy plays, but overall was pretty solid. The entire game didn't make any risky plays for the most part. Just continued to support his team, and it worked in the end.
I agree. I think there was a lot of points where that Karma shield that Karma's speed was actually one of the main reasons that Brattles could catch up and perform so well as he did. I believe we're going to go to a quick break, though, before our next game, of course. Just a quick one. But I'll tell you this much, you're going to want to stay tuned for the next game. This is the Oceanic Champions League. Everyone is going to want to see Game 2 of the night.